Okay, options. What kind of flood insurance is available out there? Well, there's actually some choices now. In the past, there weren't. It was what's always been out there is the National Flood Insurance Program. That's managed by FEMA, which is part of the federal government. But now there are privately held insurance companies that are offering flood insurance as well. Our platform, the CartoFront platform, offers quotes from both the National Flood Insurance Program and a private carrier, Beyond Floods, which is underwritten by National General Insurance, as Jason mentioned, it's a subsidiary of Allstate and rated A- by AM Best. Now, how do the two differ in terms of the federal government program, the National Flood Insurance Program, and the private market, specifically Beyond Floods? The National Flood Insurance Program is actually administered through insurance companies, but the federal government is really who is behind it. They set the pricing. They basically are, the claims are paid out of funds of the federal government, basically taxpayer funds. Private markets, private companies pay the claims themselves, and they come up with their own pricing. They examine the risk, they price the risk, and if you have a claim, the money will come out of their funds. Mentioned pricing, so we kind of jumped ahead a little bit there. The NFIP rates currently are based on what flood zone they're in, and if they're within a certain flood zone, the pricing is uniform throughout that flood zone. In the private market, every parcel is looked at individually. The focus is on the latitude and longitude and the elevation of that specific property, how high up the ground is. Now, what's interesting about this is the model that the private markets have been using for a few years now. And as Jason mentioned, the federal government, the NFIP program, is actually going to something very similar to this starting in October of this year. What kinds of limits of insurance? How much insurance is available through the different products? Well, the National Flood Insurance Program only offers up to $250,000 worth of coverage for the building itself and $100,000 for the personal property and contents within that building or home. Beyond Floods, on the other hand, offers up to $1.5 million for the building and up to 50% of that for the building coverage of the building coverage for personal property, so the stuff that's inside. Deductibles, again, only one option for National Flood Insurance, $1,250 for the building and another $1,250 for personal property inside of it. Beyond Floods offers a deductible anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000, a bunch of different options in between there. Obviously, the lower the deductible, the higher the premium. The higher the deductible, the lower the premium. And that's for both building and personal property. What kind of optional coverages are available? National Flood Insurance Program really doesn't have any optional coverages, but Beyond Floods offers loss of use. What that is in the event that your house is flooded or a home is flooded and you can't live in it and you need to spend money to stay somewhere else because you can't live there, or you're losing rents if it's a rental property, this coverage is available on an optional basis through Beyond Floods. Additionally, if you have other buildings on the property, like a detached garage, that you can get coverage for that from Beyond Floods. There isn't coverage on a single policy from the National Flood Insurance Program, although you could buy a second policy for the other buildings on the property. Timing. Unless coverage is required by a lender, you will have to wait 30 days before coverage can take effect. So, you know, this is set up in a way so that people, if they see a storm coming, they can't just go out and buy a flood policy. You know, if it is required by a lender, though, it can be implemented immediately or at closing. Beyond Floods doesn't require as long of a waiting period. It's 5 days, but the same conditions. If it's required by the lender, there's the 5-day waiting period is waived. Otherwise, you have to wait 5 days for coverage to take effect. These are some general rules about which product is best for what types of properties. The highest risk properties tend to be, you tend to be able to find a better price for the coverage through the National Flood Insurance Program. The low to medium risk properties, you'll generally find that Beyond Floods or the private market will do better. And I think we saw that in the example that Jason went through, where it was, you know, $300 for the same coverage from Beyond Floods that was over $500 for the National Flood Insurance Program.
And Mike, quick question for you. So in these low to medium risk areas, right, which are getting like a quarter of the claims, what's realistic to expect for peace of mind policies? I mean, is it $600, $800, less than 1,000? I mean, what help maybe the realtors?
Generally speaking, I think, you know, I would look at, you know, what we're seeing in the National Flood Insurance Program, which is in, you know, $500 to $600 range. You know, and that's, you know, not a lot of money over the course of 12 months. So, you know, it really is a good investment to protect yourself. It's you know, you've got homeowners insurance that protects you against so many other things, but flood is so prevalent in South Florida, and a lot of people don't really think to purchase that coverage. And you know, $600 a month, $600 a year is, you know, roughly $50 a month.
Right. And the average claim's like what, $20,000 or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's significant. So, you know, I mean, even if it just, you know, covers the floors, you know, a couple of inches of water on the floors of your home, carpeting, baseboards, drywall, all that stuff gets damaged, and that can add up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Another quiz question: true or false? Beyond Floods is a private flood insurance option. True. Beyond Floods is offered by National General Insurance, which is a private insurance company, and is available on the CartoFront platform.